So with this recent meltdown, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, that Boogie's been going through lately, it got me wondering how many of these lolcows are actually self-aware and know what they're doing. A perfect example is chrischan. That dude is so far gone, or she, whatever you want to call her, I don't care. But when you watch a video of them, you can clearly see something's not right. And it's been that way for a long time. Now, I've seen the argument that trolling made him this way. His parents when he was younger, the autism, and whatever other medical conditions he's been diagnosed with. And honestly, it's probably a combination of all three. Then you look at someone like Boogie, and I wanted to make a video about this recently, but I'm just going to include it here. I've seen so many videos and channels highlighting Boogie and just what a piece of trash he is. But don't forget about those early channels that were calling this stuff out a long time ago. You know, these people get forgotten, but they were ahead of the curve. They saw this stuff before anybody else. And it's not just here on YouTube. I remember Reddit compiling all this shit and going after him as well. Now, some people might say, just like with chrischan, a combination of the trolling, Boogie's upbringing, and his mental illness all played a factor in what he's become. And with Chris, I can buy that. With Boogie, hell no, I don't buy it. He knows what he's doing. When I watch him have these meltdowns on LolcowLive, he's screaming and jiggling around and just yelling over anybody that tries to talk. But it seems like as soon as Keemstar jumps in and tells Boogie to shut up, he immediately quiets down and just stares at the ground. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but it happens enough where you can notice it. And the problem is, if you've ever seen somebody have a legitimate meltdown, it doesn't work like that. They don't stop having the breakdown just because somebody says, all right, be quiet, I've had enough. And as soon as Muda or Destiny or somebody else starts speaking, he starts going crazy again. Now, saying that LolcowLive may be scripted isn't breaking news. That's not going to shock anybody. But how low are you supposed to go here? When somebody fakes cancer for pity and for money, you know, that person shouldn't be able to go out in public anymore without getting their ass handed to them. And I'm not calling for that to happen, but he made his own bed. Now he has to lie in it. But let's move on to his co-host on LolcowLive, the Sucking Sam's 1999 Vacuum Cleaner Salesman of the Year, Wingsofredemption. Now, old Jordy has had his fair share of meltdowns, including the infamous, you will look here and you will look listen.
Like, if somebody could give me, like, their information, like their name, their address, the number, how I can get in contact with these guys, I would really like to know, because, like, I'm seriously considering suing them. Because at this point, they're going to follow me around when I stream, and they're affecting my business at this point. Honestly, they're affecting my ability to make money. Appear offline doesn't work. I'm fucking offline. No, they're joining through recent players. Look here. Look, listen. Appearing offline does not fucking stop it. So stop giving fucking advice you know nothing about. I'm banning anybody trying to give me advice. Real talk. My mod should be doing this. I gotta play. I don't give a fuck at this point. Honestly, I don't care. I hate everything to do with life. He's following me right now, shooting at me.
Now, Jordy McJordanstein doesn't have those kind of outbursts anymore. He went and got on medication, and it seems to have calmed him down. Personally, I think he's just become a robot, you know, boring and lifeless. But that was his decision, and he felt like it was best for him. The question we're asking here, is he self-aware? Does he know what he's doing? I think Wings is willing to humiliate himself, but I also think there's lines that he's not willing to cross, especially when you compare him to somebody like Boogie, who's just willing to do or say anything, no matter the consequences. Now, Wings has said some really messed up shit in the past, and people still bring it up to him every day. And while I think Wings has changed for the better, just like Boogie, he made that bed, now he has to lie in it, or get off the internet. And this is one problem I do have with Wings. He'll still go on a banning spree sometimes. If you say things like, LOL, page 5, or where did the surgery money go?
Stephen Smith, page 5 is not allowed to be talked about unless it's on the back of $10 bills. Let me say it clearly. It's a meme. It doesn't mean anything.
Thumbs.
Try to make calls.
Again, like, donating the $10 doesn't mean I'm going to answer the question. It just means I'm not going to punish you for trolling. Like, if it's something stupid that I feel like is going to be used against me, I'm just going to ignore it. No, this is matter of fact, like, LOL, I want to go ahead and time LOL out for 10 minutes. Like
I expect to, like, ideally I want 300 to 350 viewers for a rainbow stream. If you want to talk about viewers and they're under that number, expect to be timed out. Go ahead and ban Don, please. Like, anybody going forward talks about the viewer count, do a 10-minute timeout. If they come back and do it again, ban them for permanent. For reference, like Article 5 could be a 10-minute timeout. Ryan Whitman could be a 10-minute timeout. Anti-TI could be a 10-minute timeout. This is how I want it policed.
Imagine timing people out for saying LOL. What kind of human being do you have to be to do that? And like I said earlier, I think Wings is in control of himself for the most part. You know, I think he's pretty self-aware. But when you're still doing shit like that, that's what makes you a lolcow. Threatening to ban or time people out isn't going to make them stop. It's just going to create more sock accounts and get people to come back and do it again the next day. And you've been doing this long enough that you should know that by now. And speaking of doing this long enough, that brings us to this fucking guy. Now, he's the one that I'm really qualified to speak on. I thought about saving him for last, but I've got a special surprise for you towards the end of the video. But where do we even start with this guy? Now, when I first started watching him, I used to go back and forth all the time. One day I would think this is all an act, and he's just putting on a show for the camera. Nobody could possibly be this stupid and tone deaf. Then the next day I'd be like, he really is a genuine scumbag, and he just doesn't care. Then the day after that, I'd say, he probably has convinced himself that he's the good guy in all this. In his mind, he doesn't beg every day. He's not a mobile game crackhead. It wasn't his fault that he went bankrupt. And he doesn't use people, then throw them away like trash when he's done with them. And then eventually, I came to the conclusion that, yeah, it's probably a combination of all three. He knows he's a scumbag, but somehow he's convinced himself that everybody else turned him into a scumbag. And he's got nothing to lose now, so he might as well play it up for the camera. But what fascinates me about this guy, and what separates him from Wings and Boogie, and most of the other people on this list, is DSP thinks he has morals and values, and that he's righteous. I mean, it boggles my mind. Imagine the bum at the intersection asking you for money, but at the same time, he's peeking into your vehicle going, damn, you drive around in that dirty ass car? This is what DSP reminds me of. I mean, this fucking guy one time compared himself to people in the Bible.
It's just something that's happened, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, on top of all the other shit that I've been through over the years, now this too. It's like every possible fucking negative thing that could possibly happen, it has happened to me. It's like, what in the Bible? Now, by the way, I'm not a super religious person or anything like that, and I think a lot of people who watch my videos know that, but I grew up Roman Catholic. There's a story, was it Job or Jonah? Who was it? I think it was the story of Jonah, who like he had a life, his whole life was screwed up, and then he got eaten by a whale or something, and it was just like, you know, Lord, how could you do so many negative things to me? What did I ever ask, or how did I ever ask for this? And I guess the answer that he got back was basically, it's a test or something. And, you know, I don't know. I don't really remember the story, but I feel like that person who's now been like every possible fucking thing thrown against me, right, over the years that could negatively be against me, to the point where it's like, I mean, I don't know, you know, I can't even fathom things, you know, that could happen to me that are like not the negative thing. You know what I mean? What's the next big negative thing? I can't even think of one anymore.
Make it make sense. But this is why he's a lolcow. This is what separates him from people like you and I. And while DSP is my area of expertise, there's another person I've been paying close attention to that's been doing a lot of the same things recently.
But 125 is the number. Please and thank you. Let's don't make me get too beggy and weird. I fucking hate it. It's terrible. Just support the show. Throw in a few bucks. We've done 4 hours of really good stuff for you today. We've got 4 minutes left, and we got to start a rally. Otherwise, I'm sitting here with my dick in my hand repeating the same 5 things over and over, which is always really fucking embarrassing. 125 is the number. This won't take much, guys. Let's get a move on. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, memberships. Can't lose by 125. That puts us in a bad spot. Mario, thank you for the $1.10. Guys, please knock out that 120 for us, please. I just don't want to start the day like this. All right, off we go with the Trump thing. I'm going to be upbeat and positive. You guys are going to help out.
Again, can somebody please explain to me why the bum at the intersection is staring into my vehicle talking about how dirty it is? How do you live like that? He makes a fool of himself every single day. And then he has the nerve to talk shit about his ex-wife and Rekieta, who, hint, hint, may also come up a little later in this video. But it's just wild to watch people like him and DSP do this to themselves. Another thing he's done recently is tell the story of how his wife left him to enter into a relationship and move in with another couple. And those 3 people kicked him to the curb. And when you watch clips like that, you can see why they got rid of him. But now recently, he's been trying to spin it as he left them behind. He's glad he got away from them, and he's declared himself the winner in all this. You can't make this shit up. These people have to lie to themselves in order to spin everything, so they don't have to face reality. And what's the reality? They're fucking lolcows on the internet. And once you cross that line, there's no coming back. You don't have a choice but to go further or get off the internet. But they can't seem to do it. And speaking of someone that should get off the internet, let's meet our next contestant. Bossmanjack, the price is right. Come on down.
That one on the right! Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! No way! Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, dude! No way! Oh my gosh, dude! Oh my gosh, dude! Oh my gosh, dude! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Dad! Dad! I just won $31,000! I'm not kidding! You have to help me with this! $31,000! You have to give me into the bank tomorrow. I don't know. Oh my f***ing god. Now what were you saying about not letting me cook? Oh my f***ing god. I just hit 1,000x. I just hit a... Oh my god, dude. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. I'm gonna do something funny for you guys, just for shits and giggles. I'm gonna put $1,000 on a Plinko ball. Here we go, guys. Just one and done. See what happens. Oh, you sick son of a bitch. Now we'll do a 960. Last one. I'm gonna cash out right after this, I swear to God. Oh my God, guys. Guys. Oh, what the fuck was that? Oh my God, I cannot believe I have 30 grand. Oh my fuck, somebody has to clip that. I wanna start crying, dude. I almost wanna start crying after that, dude. I'm not kidding.
Now, would it shock you to learn that he lost that $30,000 the very next day? And the answer is no, it wouldn't shock you. He's a fucking lolcow. It's the entire point of this video. But the crazy thing about it is, that's not even close to the biggest jackpot he's ever won. Roughly about a month ago, he hit for $185,000 in one night. Let that sink in. That could pay off half of a very nice house, depending on what part of the country you live in. And what did Bossmanjack do with all that money? He bought an Escalade and a Range Rover. No, I'm kidding. He lost it all back less than a week later. And look, I understand being bad with money. I've done that myself in the past. But to get online and just broadcast all this stuff in real time to complete strangers, a bunch of people making videos about you, everyone either just laughing or feeling sorry for you, what kind of a way is that to live? And unfortunately for Bossmanjack, he's got way bigger problems he's facing right now. He assaulted a family member. When he got arrested for it, they found drugs, and he was already on parole as it is. So he's got issues he's gonna have to take care of one way or the other. But speaking of lolcows getting arrested and the cops finding drugs everywhere, that brings us to the next contestant. Rekieta, come on down. Now, my close personal friend here is the back-to-back, like Drake, reigning, defending, undisputed, two-time lolcow champion of the year. I mean, this guy's life has fallen apart. Less than 2 years ago, he was doing 100,000 viewer live streams. He was getting so many super chats, he wouldn't even read them unless they were $20 and above. How on earth do you screw that up? Well, you introduce Yayo into the mix. And if that's not bad enough, then you introduce Aaron from the steeltoe morning show into the mix. Then you start swinging with each other's wives, doing hot tub streams. And then when everyone puts 2 and 2 together and figures out what's going on, you lie about it and insult people for making up shit about you. Now, I think Nick is probably the smartest guy in this entire video. And that ain't saying much. But still, he should have known better. You don't put that Sonichu medallion on no matter how good things are going. Now, I remember being in his chat that night when things really fell apart. Medicare was in there. Anime Sucks. Cope and Sneed was going wild. I mean, there were some heavy-hitting trolls in the chat that night. And Nick decided to excuse himself to the ladies' room. And when he came back, there was a bunch of white powder on his nose and in his mustache. So Nick was obviously eating donuts on his break, of course. But things only got worse after that. And if you have any children close by, please escort them out of the room. Because what happened next is one of the most disturbing things ever caught on film.
Why would you do this? Why now?
Are you old enough to remember Bat Boy from the Weekly World News? That's what it reminds me of. It's so disturbing, but I can't look away. And for the record, yes, Bat Boy is real, dumbass. Now, you would think it can't get any worse than that. White powder all over your nose, either doing something to yourself or having somebody else do it to you live on stream, and just being unable to string a sentence together. But unfortunately for Nick, it got much, much worse. The cops showed up at his house randomly, Aaron, wink, wink, and they found 26 grams of powdered donuts, among a bunch of other substances. And Nick had to appear in front of a judge, along with his wife and mistress. Oh, and of course, it got live streamed because why wouldn't it? Now, going back to what separates us from them, a normal person might think, I need to lay low, maybe disappear from the internet completely. You know, I've put my family through a lot. I've lost custody of my children. People are just going to use me for content now. And what was going through Nick's mind? He was ready to come back and stream for his locals members, basically another version of Patreon, the very next day. How could you even consider that? And I've come to learn he needs to control the narrative. He needs to control the situation. And the only way he can do that is by coming back on stream almost immediately and lying about what happened. Now, just like with Bossmanjack, Nick has bigger problems he's dealing with. And to be honest, without snitching, I don't see how you can avoid jail time, getting caught with that much drugs in your house. But at the end of the day, that's his problem, and he has to deal with it. Now, there's one more person we're going to look at, and unless you're in the DSP community, you won't know about this person, but you're about to find out. Say hello to a person that goes by Redemption Games. Now, he left that name behind because he started attracting trolls and people started finding out bad things about him. So in typical Lolcow fashion, he just changed his name, thinking that would fix everything. But he also needed people to come watch his content, so he had to advertise it. And would you imagine my shock when the dirty trolls found him again? Now, this time he was going by Faith Reforged, and he creates content around playing video games and using my faith as a motivate myself to become a better person playing them video games. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch that kind of content? And as I said before, it didn't take long for the evil trolls to find him. So he decided to switch it up again, this time going by the name The Guru of Games. Now, it probably won't surprise you to know he's already abandoned that account as well. And it's only a matter of time till he pops up with a new one. But let's get into why I'm including him here. Normally, I don't talk about people with disabilities, whether it's mental or physical. You know, it's not their fault, and I just don't have any interest in covering them. But that changed when I decided to make a video, and I included DSP superfan Derek. And the reason I did that is because Derek does some terrible things online. He knows they're wrong, and he still chooses to do it anyway. And the proof of it is, he won't bring this stuff up to DSP or in DSP's chat. Because again, he knows it's wrong, and you're not supposed to do that. So when I found another DSP superfan doing and saying much worse things, the fact that he was using disabilities as an excuse didn't mean jack shit to me. Now, my boy, the Ugly Monster, is working on another video about this guy, and it'll go into much more detail about the things that he does. And when I tell you, this is a reincarnation of chrischan all over again, I'm not exaggerating. Now, our buddy Guru is looking for a girlfriend. He needs attention and affection, and it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's a female. The problem is, he doesn't care about the age. That's just a number to him. Now, he's been caught multiple times talking to what he thinks are teenage girls. And after I don't know how many times, I decided to confront him about it. I set up a Discord call between him, myself, and one of the people that's been portraying these girls. And he knows who I am. He knows I make DSP videos. He knows DSP doesn't like me. So in his mind, I'm a terrible, evil troll. And he knew he was going to be in trouble on this call. So instead of facing the music, he went and got his mother to defend him. And it took me by surprise because I wasn't expecting that. But at the same time, I wanted him to answer for this. So for roughly about 30 minutes, we went back and forth. And eventually both he and his mom promised he wouldn't do this again. He didn't know any better, and he's just looking for a girlfriend and affection. But for now, I'm going to play a minute of it so you can see what I'm talking about.
I left the scene and I let the men do the talking. But now that you have come into the picture and you're trying to help my son, you should understand he
I'm
might be
trying.
good at some things. He might be good at some things. You know how some people are good at some things. He might be like could not understand some things either. Okay. So in the area of young people dating on the internet, whatever they did or whatever it is, it's not supposed to be exposed outside, because that was given. Although we think of it as wrong, I see it as wrong. As a Christian, it's wrong, but it's done inside the two of them in an agreement or something. It should not be passed on to everyone. That's the point there.
As far as you know, he's never had contact with minors.
None.
Okay. Okay. Daniel, are you there?
Yeah.
And you're never going to do this again, right? I mean, you're not going to talk to any minors or online or anything? 100%?
Yeah.
So once the call was over, he DM'd me as well, saying thank you, promising this was a misunderstanding. It was never going to happen again, blah, blah, blah. A couple of days go by. A new person pops into the server, has their age clearly listed on their profile, tells him in DMs how old she is, and he doesn't care because age is just a number. He also specifically tells her, don't mention this to Super Crazy. I don't want him to know we're talking. Well, unfortunately for the guru of games, it does leak out to me that they're talking. I confront him in DMs again. And what do you think his response was? I'm sorry. It was a misunderstanding. I'll never do this again. I promise. Meanwhile, he blames her for exposing him and still continues to talk to her anyways. So this video started with lolcows. Are they self-aware? Do they know what they're doing? Now, he has disabilities, so there is a built-in excuse. But where do we draw the line? And honestly, I'm asking you this because I am somewhat confused. Just because I have an opinion on something doesn't mean it's right. Some of this stuff he is being lured into. So I didn't mean for the video to get serious like this, but I do feel like this needs to be exposed at some point, and it's gonna happen one way or the other. Anyways, if the video does well and people want to see a follow-up, I'll go ahead and make it because I know there's certain lolcows missing. But I'll talk to y'all in a few days with another video. Thank you for sticking with me, and let's fucking go, man.
Are you ready? Why don't you have money for new consoles? A green screen, a better camera, we're crowdfunding a project, and those are deliverables. Who says I don't have money for the new console? What are you even talking about? You're an idiot. You're brilliant. All right. You're a moron. I don't even think it's to the point where you need help. You're just stupid. My God, you're fucking stupid. Where are you even getting this information from? I've explained all these things. I can afford the PS5. The green screen I'm holding off on because I probably want to get kind of either a new setup so that the green screen can be fully utilized rather than trying to cram it into my existing outdated setup. Or at the very least, I want to wait until the hardcore gaming season is done because that way I'm not trying to implement something during the busiest season of the year and it screws stuff up. I've explained this. A better camera. I'm going to eventually get a better... I've talked about all this. Like, the thing is, you're an idiot. You don't listen to the explanations. Instead, you just hear what you want to hear, so then you can come back and spin it negatively. Because you're a fucking detractor piece of shit who only follows the drama circles and doesn't actually watch the streams. So I can't stop you from being a complete mouth-drooling moron. I can't. I wish I could. I wish I could, like, show you the light. But instead, enjoy your nice, tasty, lean-in permanent manual band, you dumb fuck.